What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 13. Picking up from Stormvale Castle. So at this point, we have wrapped up with Stormvale in full, taking out the final boss and getting you guys your first great room. So before we head on over to Liurnia, there are a few things I did want to cover with you guys. So going on down to Radagon Sourcehill, we did pick this up early in the game to help you guys out with our early runaround, as this talisman will give you 20 free levels. So that's 5 to health and stamina, then another 5 to strength and dex to help with early weapon requirements, so you guys do have access to certain weapons. With that being said, these are 20 fake levels. You take off this talisman, you lose those levels, and you don't want to get too reliant on those. So before you reach level 100, this has got to go. I don't care which build you're doing, whether it's the recommended build or not. This is not only makes you rely on fake levels, it also lowers your defenses substantially. In fact, when it comes to lightning, you're like negative 17%. So being in the same vicinity as lightning, you're just gonna die, right? So it's really bad. However, up to level 100 are typically good. Now, I just want to bring that up as it is something you want to try to keep in mind, not to mention we're losing that whole talisman slot over this. Now, there are some weapons that are going to be coming up that we're really going to want that go very nicely with our build and other builds as well that we'll want to keep this on. But, like I said, it's just something to try to, keep in mind and pay attention to. So going over stats at this point, if I were to take this off, you're going to notice that our vigor is almost to 40. That's our stopping point. We just need 2 more levels. We'll be able to get that done. We were at 36 when we closed out, so I popped every room, even though we typically want to save these. Since we did just complete a region, it makes sense to pop them all and try to get these levels and get it over with, right? So we're almost done with that. We'll move into stamina, and then we're pretty much into our damage for the foreseeable future. Maybe later on we'll respec, take a couple points out of damage to finish off our health or get a little bit more stamina, but we're almost to that point where we can start actually working our build together. So either way, guys, moving forward from Godric Grafted, we're going to pop this door and go into his chambers. So this is pretty much his throne room. There's not going to be anything over here to the right. However, to the left is going to let us progress. And you're also going to notice that I have on Bloodhound's Fang to switch it up a bit, show off different weapons. Bloodhound's Fang, despite your build, is a weapon that will carry you until you find the main weapon for your build. And it's going to be a long time for a lot of us because the game's just so big. It just takes a while. Bloodhound is one of the best weapons of the game. But as long as you reach the stats, this is something that, you can use for a long time. It holds up just fine. So going on down, as soon as you drop, make sure you turn around for your shabriri grape. Then you can interact here if you would like to. Get a little bit of backstory. So we have mentioned the infamous Grape Lady and her quest. We got you 1 grape in Weeping Peninsula. You picked up another there. I stated that there will be 3 grapes you need. There's only 3 grapes. You cannot miss any at all, which is why I told you guys to follow along. So moving forward, we're going to get into Liurnia of the Lakes. It's going to change it to daytime while we're here. Now, as soon as you take out Godric, it's going to cause Bach to move on. So this will be his second spot. Now he's going to mention how he can alter your garments for you.
Allow me to sew. I'm happy to.
So this is how it works. You can do this on your own. It just costs 500 runes, which isn't much, but he'll do it for free. Problem is he moves around, so you can't find him. You got to try to hunt him down. It's only 500 runes. But we can go over and do something like this. Just take our cape off, or put a cape on if your armor allows it. So it just lets you do, a few things. Aside from that, we're just going to make sure that you are completely exhausted with his dialogue. So we're caught up with him. And over here is Hyetta. So Hyetta is a very long quest, very obscure quest, which leads to a lot of dark secrets within the world. One of your the most hidden trophy ending in the game. It also leads to some very good weapons and items, right? So for her quest, you need to find 3 shabriri grapes. So when we went down here for Arena, we delivered the letter to her father. Then after you went back, she ended up getting killed, and then, he was there. And I told you guys, when you progress to the area, he'll invade you. When he does, you'll get a shabriri grape. We killed him here, because where he invades you can be hard to find. So we went ahead and took him out, got his weapon, and got your first shabriri grape. So that's going to be number 1. Number 2 was just behind you. So now it's just about finding her 3 locations. So this episode, that's going to be one of our main focuses.
My eyesight has been weak, but when I eat, it will lead me.
So this is going to be your first location. Let's go and give her the shabriri.
May the blessing.
As you wish gesture, we'll go over.
The blessing of the...
Okay. Make sure you're fully exhausted. Now we can move on. So we'll naturally run into our other 2 locations this episode. In our early runaround, we went ahead and picked you guys up the Mage Scroll over there to your right. If you have not picked that up, go ahead and do so. Then over here is going to be a Sacred Tear that we picked up in Thops. Now, we told you guys early on that, you know, Thops has a quest, but we were only here for items, right? So I did say, you know, donate 10 runes. Here's a few spells you can buy from him. But when it comes to his quest, what happens is, to go over the lore, you have Carrion Manor, and then you have Raya Lucaria Academy. Well, there was a war that ensued between the two factions in the same zone, both, you know, mage factions. But what happened is when that war took place, Raya Lucaria, the main academy here, put up a barrier that kind of threw people out. Some of the people that are in, like him, this spell pushed them out, and that's him. And he's trying to get back in to continue his learning, and that's what he wants your help with. So there are keys that let you pass this barrier. I think they could only be used once, so you need to try to find him the key, a spare key, because we need one too, and we'll turn that in, allow him to go home. And that's his quest. It just doesn't come for a while. So
I'm afraid my meager sorceries are no match for your... Oh, right. I can tell you what I know about this place. That should help a bit. You've seen that structure to the north, towering over the water. That's the Academy of Raya Lucaria, where we study glintstone sorceries. Only its doors have been closed for quite some time now. After they declared they wouldn't interfere with the shattering, the Academy cast repelling seals on the east gate leading to the capital, and the south gate leading here. As you might have guessed, the seals are still active, making entry to the Academy impossible without a glintstone key. And so I'm stuck here, a fledgling sorcerer with little chance of acquiring a key. When they cast the seals, I'd just popped out. And now I'm uprooted from my place of learning. Why not find...
So just go over his dialogue. Now, we've met Selen. We know that she was kicked out of the academy for studying like dark magic and doing evil shit. So you get a little bit of dialogue, and he's just gonna say he didn't believe it. He knew her, and she did not seem like the person that would do this type of stuff. But all in all, just exhaust his dialogue for now.
Find you without one, you can't.
Okay, so we should be caught up. All right. So once we have that, what we're gonna be doing is, like I said, we already went to the right for the scroll. Over here to the left is not much. With it being 100% walkthrough, we're going to make sure we get all the items, but don't expect much from it. So there are going to be some undead here. Remember, you got to hit them while they're down, or use your Sacred Blade. One of them's quite beefy. So what you want to do, try to get these guys down first. You get one-on-one fight, because this guy is a fucking nightmare. That. He just got so much health. Completely immune to blood loss, like our weapon has blood loss, but he's undead, so no blood to lose. Just stay on him. He can put you down really easily if you're not careful. You don't have real need to fight him, but if he drops his weapon, a very, very good halberd, but probably a rare drop. Either way, that clears that. So now we can move on down to our next camp. So similar to your camps in Limgrave, this one's pretty straightforward through and through. Now, once we get down to the coast, we'll go over, you know, our plan for the episode and what we're trying to do. Because Liurnia is a huge zone, and when it comes to the NPC quests here, stuff like that, there's a very particular way you need to do it. A very particular way. Thank you. Yeah, a couple basic bobbies. So that is, so if it's some Dark Souls 3, it'd be Undead Hunter's Charm. I forget what it's called here, but it's a flask that they throw at you, and it prevents your healing for, like, I think it's a minute, maybe even longer. So while that's active on you, you will not be able to heal. You see our healing's kind of blocked out. You see that? So, I forget what it's called in this game. I don't think we have it yet either. We'll cover it. It comes later typically. It's more of a multiplayer PvP type item, because when you're fighting guys, you can take away their healing. Alright, either way, with them cleared, we're just going to be going in our tents, grabbing some loose loot. I think this one's cleared. Let's just double check it. Yep, so we're good there. And that's all you're doing with the area. You got to be really clear. There's more than meets the eye a lot of the times. And that's one I just didn't check when I was doing notes. I was trying to, you know, be sure we got it all. Adds up. Alright, either way, that should be good. Should be one guy out here, unless he already came in, which he did. Then we're going to go down to your merchants. So if you haven't followed along, this guy actually sells a very good item, which is your lantern. You know, we picked this up, we've used it for our catacombs and our caves, but phenomenal item to have, and I would recommend having it. Alright, so once we're caught up there, we can pull up the map. So, obviously, you know, early run around, we've gotten all the maps through the first 3 regions, right? So we have access to everything, and it does allow us to kind of talk about it all. So Liurnia is absolutely fucking huge, and there are particular ways you have to do things, because there's like one NPC down here that won't let you progress with her until you go here first, and then there's a quest line here which revolves around you going all the way up here and then all the way over here. So like I said, very particular way you need to do things. So the way I think it works best is to do this whole coast, everything on the right up to, you know, the part. So we need to do this whole right coast. Then it'll be bottom of the lake, left coast, top of the lake, legacy dungeon. It's a good way to keep track, make sure you don't miss any items. However, before we even do that, what we are going to do is just knock out Last Scar Ruins, because there's not much here. And then we're just going to shoot straight across for some ruins here. That'll be the next location for the Shabriri Great Quest. Then we'll start, you know, knocking out this region. But even before we do that, because this is all off on its own, I want to go ahead and get this done. So from the Liurnia Lake Shore, we're going to go out into the water. And you can't really miss it. All you're doing is going right out into the lake and making a right. So tucked off at the very end here is actually going to be a cave. It's going to be a poison cave. Probably the biggest cave we've done up to, you know, now. It's not so big, but it's bigger than anyone you've seen. Now, you should see jellyfish when you get close. We've already went over how, you know, they're pretty much an indicator that something is near. I would not fight lobster bro if I was y'all. Not yet. He's very, very formidable. Alright, so grab the side of grace, let's put on our lantern. And the enemies here are weak to fire. We have Blood Flame Blade if we need it. I don't think it's going to be much of a problem with our blood loss. We're pretty squishy guys all in all. I would recommend, you know, having on your Flame Cleanse Me if you have that. So you're pretty much in poison the whole time. You can't really avoid it. So you got the sages again, the poison sages you're going to be dealing with. The bats use poison, well the harpies do. And then everything's kind of in the poison stuff. So first things first, just grab your loose loot. Don't worry about going down just yet. We're going to go straight across. Okay. Alright, so once you take them out, if we go straight on back, it actually gets you guys the Sage set for mage builds. It'd be a decent choice, kind of goes with that theme. Now what I like to do, because there's a lot of bats and there's a harpy. Harpies can be pretty tough if you get fought one. Yeah, I like to get in this back wall. That puts everybody in front of us. And they should come to us. Unless we get turned around. Yeah. There we go. Right, there you go. So like I said, your back's against the wall, everyone's in front of you. It seems a little rough, but I think it's just an easier way to do it. We'll just grab our items, and this is clear. Now we're going to go out, just wrap around to the left-hand side. Now we will do the bottom, but just to state, there's like really nothing going on at the bottom. We will grab what's there, but if you don't feel like running around poison, let's just say you're not going to be missing much. So let's wait on these guys again. You got a sage across that's casting bullshit. And one right here. Thank you. Let's heal. Oh, he went below. That's fine. Just because we're about to get down into poison, I wanted to go ahead and, you know, just get that off of us. We're going to add it to it. Keep in mind, you could also, well, you could have crafted the boluses to cleanse poison. What we'll do is we'll just rely on our heals a bit. This guy's kind of blocking the way. All you really gotta do is just do a quick run to get all the items. Just kind of get this big one out of the way. I mean, you guys can fight all of them if you want. There's not really much of a reason to. So mostly, you're looking at it, crafting, you know, mostly. Where are you, little fucker? Ugh. Yeah, this guy did not stay down long. That's good. Heal. Thank you. Alright. Get all those drops. So usually I wouldn't sit here and take all these guys out, but since we already came so far, it's like, fuck it, might as well just clear the board. If we don't have enough resources for the boss, there will be a stake of America if we end up getting killed. But yeah, it's kind of just a waste of time from here. So as you see, it's just resources more than anything else, guys. That's it. Alright, let's go and cleanse up. Hopefully we can get out of here before that procs again. And you will go back and poison, but it's pretty manageable from this point. Alright, there's your stake America. You. Thank you. And are we poisoned again? Yep. So we'll go ahead and cleanse one more time. That's a free heal and opening bubble tier. So I'm gonna get up here for a second to talk about the boss. So this boss is actually just an elite enemy from Caelid. This is your Clean Rot Knight. Clean Rot Knights usually have a rapier in one hand and a staff or a scythe in the other. So they have fate incantations where they can spawn a bunch of swords that pop up from under the ground. You're going to want to watch out for. There's a grab attack which will impale you in the air with her spear. That'll do about half your health. You want to watch out for that. And she likes to block a lot and then smack you with both of her weapons. So just stay on her. Try to, you know, find your openings, dodge through the rest, and really run away from those AoEs or, you know, learn how to spot them. Now, going in with Blood Flame will help. She's, you know, considered to be a rot enemy, poison enemy, so they are weak to fire. Definitely weak to blood loss. So you have to try to block and then smack with your weapon. That's the big thrust. Watch out for that. But all in all, not really, you know, it's just an elite enemy. It's not necessarily a boss. There you go. Like I said, not too bad. If she does kill you, you'll probably get a second try, guys. It's just not one of those. Winged Sword Insignia is an absolutely phenomenal talisman depending on your build. So from here, we'll go to Liurnia Lakeshore again. But yeah, depending on your build. So if you're using bigger weapons, it's not for you, you know, at the end of the day. But if you're using something fast, daggers, katana, as you stack up successive hits, it's going to give you a damage boost. You just can't beat it. Now, from here, as mentioned, we're just going to be going over to Lascar Ruins. And we can just ride our, you know, ride Torrent on end so you can kind of keep track of any enemies or items along the way. There's not much here. There's a cookbook, there's a utility item, and I think a loose room. So, quick enough. Now, we're actually not going to clear this area, because these guys are just, they're covered. You know, this area's covered in them. But anyone that, you know, might want to try to chase you down, smaller guys we'll go ahead and take out. Now, all we're really doing is just run straight past them. Over on the right-hand side will be a cookbook right past Horsebro. It's actually right by your side of Grace that you picked up. That smoke will not really do anything to you. There's your side of Grace. Right behind will be your cookbook. Let's pick that up. Then if you go near the teleporter, you know, you've been here with us, you know all about the teleporter. But if you go near the teleporter, it's going to be the ruins behind on the right-hand side. So firstly, we're going to go to the right, grab this, and then just follow this straight. There should be a little hole right here. Now, as mentioned, this is just a utility item. So the enemies right here, if you notice, they're using a little bell that summons wraiths to kind of chase you down. We're going to get that bell. It's not going to do the most damage. It can't be upgraded. It's just something kind of fun to play around with more than anything else. So we'll show it off, but it's not, like I said, it's just not anything crazy. I guess we could just put on a quick access real quick. I mean, it's another option for like physical builds to have some kind of magic abilities, and you can spam it. It does cost a little bit of mana. You see that? So you can use it to like deal with ranged enemies, I guess. But yeah, it's just nothing crazy, guys. Nothing crazy. So before we take off, we will go ahead and mark this. So you're gonna have ruins about right here on your map. If you guys want to go ahead and put a marker right there, it's literally right across from Lascar ruins. But you can barely see. You just gotta look for these little structures. But that will be our next spot. Almost missed a room. I didn't even write that one down. I may have not even found it when I was taking notes. Probably overlooked it. Not a big deal. Alright, this can bring over to your next set of ruins. These ruins here are pretty dope though, all in all. Because you get some really nice rewards from them. So as soon as you get to your marker, the lower portion, you should be seeing Hyetta right here. This will be her second location for shabriri grapes. And you're going to notice we're still one short. And that's what we're about to grab you right here. So give shabriri grape.
Howling, they're frail. But you are most. May the blessing.
And then the third grape. Yeah, that's where we are now. Okay. So your third grape for request is actually here. After that, you'll have to actually, get to our next location, but this is where you're going to find it. Now, the ruins on the left will have a teleportation device, which is just going to bring you somewhere you've already been, so we're not worried about that. What we want to do is kind of go uphill to your right-hand side here. Now, it's going to be dogs and soldiers. What we want to do is just kind of make a loop around to actually grab all the items and, clear it out. Now, there should be a few coming for us. Alright. There they are. I appreciate if you drop your shield and your armor set. I really like his armor and his shield. Oh, smithing 3. That's the other thing you're going to notice. Depending on where you are in the game, every enemy has a chance to drop smithing stones. So Limgrave will be 1s. You can get 2s and 3s in the Urnia, so on and so forth, right? So the later you are, the better stones you're going to get. Finally got it. God, the shield is such a low drop chance. I got it twice. I've been waiting on the shield for a long time, guys. As mentioned, this is the best medium shield in the game. And despite being a medium shield, it's better than probably 70% of the great shield stat-wise. So 100 physical damage negation. Magic, fire, lightning, and holy are all above 50 or very close. Lightning's at 40, but that's much higher than most shields even. Than having holy, fire, and magic are almost at 60. So, that's blocking 60% of that damage. It's huge. It's huge. But the guard boost. Guard boost means how much the enemy's going to have to hit you before, it's the stability. So how much damage can that shield take before your stance breaks? I can go down here. This is a great shield. The wooden great shield. Guard boost at 56. Great shield. Medium shield 61. That's what I'm saying. And then when you upgrade it, that guard boost gets better. This thing goes up to like 67, almost 70 guard boost, which outperforms the Manor Tower shield. Like, it's crazy good, guys. That's why we've been wanting it. I mean, it looks good too. It's a beefy medium shield, so it's really wide. But yeah, I mean, just stat-wise, it's so good. One of the best shields in the game, and absolutely the best medium shield in the game. Either way, we got lucky on that. But when you go in, make sure you break through your crates. This is going to give you your third shabriri grape and a talisman that is going to help us get the levels in the faith so we can reach weapon requirements and spell requirements. The problem is we don't have that slot. So 2 Fingers Heirloom is +5 to faith. There's one for every damage type besides arcane. That's in the DLC. So it's kind of shitty you gotta wait so long to get arcane and then it wasn't released with the base game, but it is what it is, and you still can get it. Now these are, you know, another item that's giving you fake stats. It's not something you want to keep on forever, but it is something that'll help you buy a little bit of time while giving you access to, you know, better stuff. So line it up, boys. Thank you. Getting your drops from them. Now all we're doing from here, because you can't give Hyetta the grape at that same spot, so we're just going to work our way straight up to this side. And it should be like right out of sight of Grace if you just followed it straight up. It should be right here on your left. Yeah, right over here. And now we finally made it up to this coast. There's a particular way we're going to want to move forward. Alright, so what we're going to be doing... Oh, wrong button. Pulling up the map. Like I said, we want to do this coast first. It's going to take a few episodes. I mean, we're already sitting here at 30 minutes. So, this episode, we're going to start off by going to the very bottom, as there's not much here. Then once we get there, we can just work our way all the way up. Probably, I'd say about 3 episodes in full. Just knock all this out. So for this episode, I'm hoping we can at least get cleared up to this bridge. Now, we've already got this on our early runaround, so if you followed along, you have it. So for the time being, before we even get started... Well, no, we'll make it back there in time, right? Well, just in case. Just in case. This is where I want to close up this episode, but there's catacombs and stuff that may take time. But this is Hyetta's 3rd location, so it makes sense to make sure all this is in the same episode so you guys know where to find it. So going on over to Hyetta.
Would you donate them on a pill and when I eat?
So this is her 3rd and final location.
What a sight.
They're human eyes.
So
That's what you're telling her they are. So she's blind. The grapes give her a type of sight.
I'll be fine.
So you need to walk away. This one's a little confusing. You're going to hear her throw up. Then you're going to go back.
I'll be fine.
Now this is the only time where you need to exhaust her dialogue. Then you need to make sure you rest and then go back again. If not, she will not move on to her next location.
I've gleaned some of the reason why a distant light. So
I'm sure I'll be a finger maiden.
Finally, I'm certain now.
Okay, that's the dialogue
I've
you
gleaned,
need.
I'm certain.
Okay. As long as you got that, you're good. But yeah, so the plan was to get to the bottom, like I said, work our way, and we should have got up to here by the end of the episode. But like I said, just in case, let's just make sure we have that in there. So now what we're going to be doing is hopping on Torrent. Put a marker if you want. All we want to do is get on the main road, ignore everybody besides the main road. Because when we come starting from the bottom, we're going to come up, but we're going to kind of stick to the right. So what we're going to do on the way down, we'll clear the road. But all this stuff over here, if you see items, don't worry about it. You know, we're going to get them on the way back. This way we don't have to zigzag so much. The best way to do it, like I said, is just start from the bottom, work your way up. But you have stuff on the right, you have stuff on the left, so it keeps, helps to keep track. So if they're on the road, they're getting cleared. I do want to look at something too, weight-wise, because that 7 pounds, ooh, it's actually heavier, not lighter. We're not fat rolling, but something to keep in mind. Be cautious of. So I'd like to take that off. That puts us heavy, but if I were to swap back to those, we're a medium, and then I can go with boost and faith for our next weapon. I like that. Plus, being at 20 faith gives us access to those black flame spells we picked up. So, now remember, if you don't kill these guys right away, they're gonna spaz the fuck out. So you gotta be cautious, or just be super aggressive with them. Doesn't matter which weapon they're wielding. They all spaz out. And, they'll hit you 1,000 times, whether that be arrows or spears or swords, whatever they got. All right, then on the right, no, it's up a little bit more. We're gonna take these guys down since they're, they're right here, but we're just not getting over in the field or, none of that. Oh, she's still alive. Sometimes they'll have a hair of health left, and you just can't. Yeah, you'll think they're dead, and they're not. So make sure you watch them carefully. We'll get our drops back on the main road, and there's your next side of grace. Now we took a lot of guys out. I'm not gonna rest. They're all gonna come back. And as always, we want to make sure everything's clear. All of your enemies, all your items. So if you rest, they're all going to come back. It's harder to keep track of what you have cleared and what you don't. We have 7 heals, we'll be fine. So sticking to the right-hand side, there's going to be a group of gentlemen back here. Oh, quick in the draw, are we? Give me your armor. One of my favorite looking armor sets early on. It's just a nice clean set as far as the colors and the attributes of that armor. I'm hoping we get it at some point. It looks really good with like the leggings we got from the Banished Knight. If you piece up stuff early in the game, you can have a really nice looking set of armor. If you're just reliant on what you find in the game, you'll have really nice sets. It's just going to take a long time. So you're worried about your fashion, got to get a little creative. Got to piece together some stuff. Come here. Quickly. Thank you. Now, if you guys like, that's the other thing too, if you guys like Bloodhound's Fang, you already have the upgrades to get this to +5. And as I said, it's still one of the best weapons in the game. And you can still do like a faith build, like a dex faith, just keep an 18 strength, because it's the only somber weapon you could actually use. And it would make a powerful playstyle. So if you guys like that, go ahead and bring it up. I mean, it's an absolutely phenomenal weapon at the end of the day. But regardless, for the recommended build, we're going to use it until we get the stuff we're going for, because it's just going to carry you quite well. I did want to state that because, I said before, I'm like, hey, just be cautious about your upgrades, but this is something we could use for a long time. Tree Spirit, this thing's worth to mention. So this is a quality faith build, which, yes, the game's big enough and you're going to get massive amounts of levels. You are. And to do a dual stat build, 2 stats, you could be able to get about 50-50, 60-60 end game easily, with enough health, mana, and stamina, right? But you're not going to get 3. Let's be realistic here. So you're going to notice strength, dex, and faith. So you're going to have to stick with one over the other. This is probably dex faith, just reaching that 15 strength requirement and bringing those 2 up. But what I like about this is its physical has holy built in, but you can still buff it. Usually that is not a thing. That's just not how it works. If it does holy or any kind of status, you can't buff it. And even the Ash of War, don't meet the requirements. What for? Because the dex? Nah, there's nothing we can do about it. Either way, if we reach the requirement, it does a buff called Sacred Order. That's another thing. Usually weapons that have any type of buff, like Sacred Order or Golden Vow, you cannot buff anything else. But you can actually still buff it. Then you can put Blood Flame and get Holy. So, So I said, anytime weapons actually worth a mention, we'll bring it up. Because that's really unique right there. Where you at? There we go. Alright guys, like I said, we're just going to start from the bottom and work our way up. So right past the side of Grace, that's where we took those marionette guys down. What we're going to be doing is just sticking to the right, clearing the grass, and then we're going to wrap around downhill. It's kind of tucked up, but there's actually a catacomb right here. But you have to go up and then down and around. So we'll be going up by that first side of Grace we got. It'll make more sense here in a second. Now, since we didn't rest, all these guys should be down for the most part. Besides the guys that are like way off in the grass. So like when you see these balloons out in the world, those marionette guys, like the forearms that spaz out, that's where they come from. They drop from those. So if you see those, look up, make sure there's nobody attached to them. Yeah, see. Because like I think we only killed 3 of them. So there's definitely more out there. Ooh, shit, not good. You see what I'm saying? It's fucking absurd, dude. Alright, dogs. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. you. It can be rough at times. If they're scattershot and just run to the side, just like we did there. We're not worried about heals, so when you're out in the world and you kill like a group of enemies, it actually refills a lot of your healing. I think like gives you 3 flasks. No ruin fragments. Oh, yep, there we go. Yeah, you want to pick those up. Those are to craft rainbow stones, which we're going to use a lot in later game catacombs. So we want to just keep a healthy amount of them. We'll be using a lot. It helps out a lot. We're going through more complex catacombs. All right, so that is your next side of grace. Like I said, as soon as you get about there, you're just going to wrap and go around to the right. So everything past this point, like that trail to the far right. There's a tower over there, then your main path. We'll get to this, but not until we close up this first loop. So as always, you're going to see the statue that points at your catacombs in case you didn't, get to them. I think I just dropped my phone if y'all heard that. Apologize. So going on down, there's going to be a few enemies. I don't think you guys seen... Yeah, you saw them in Caled on our early run, but that's it. The first time you're going to be facing them. So they like to throw smoke, so you lose track of them. But it doesn't matter because you have a lock on, so they can't really hide from you. Just use your lock on, put them down. They actually have a small halberd. It's small, but it does blood loss. So if you guys want to farm, that's pretty cool. That one right there he's using, you can't get that. Alright, so that should finally be all of them wrapped up. And then right here, you get your Somber 2. Now, the catacomb is, once you get to the end, you kind of turn around, but you're going up towards the left. There's a little section all up on its own over here. And that's going to lead to this catacomb, which could give players some trouble, this one. So if you guys remember the Omen we fought in Stormville, I think there's like 5 or 6 of those guys. And then you're going to have, not the Thralls, what are they called in this game? Banged Imps. So it could be a little bit rough for, first-time players, but honestly, the way it's set up, if you actually take the right route, you can pretty much backstab every single one. So you got to take that into consideration as well. Yeah, I'm so short. We'll wait. Then we were able to pull off. So we have the requirements for our weapon. Okay. We have an upcoming weapon. It's the next episode or the episode after. I want to make sure we have the stats for it. I want to make sure we have the stats for it. But since our talismans are giving us the stats, we could focus on getting that stamina done and getting the health done. So, just stuff to come. Either way, guys, once you write this down, we've already talked to you guys many times about the, the hidden ledges. Always get your drop-off points. As soon as you go around this corner, just hold up your shield. Guard counter him. Wait on him. So it makes dealing with him much easier. Pick up your root resin always. Wait on him. Like I said, they're sneaky little fuckers. So he's actually using a technically a great sword. It's like a fork looking thing. You could actually get that drop too. I don't think it's, anything to write home about, but it's a, very unique weapon to say the least. Alright, now from here, you're going to see that's your lever. You just got to work your way to it. To get to your lever, you're actually going to go down right here, and that would progress the main path of the catacomb. But over here is some optional stuff. So we're going to watch out for a floor trap there. Try to get behind them. I mean, you don't have to. You can just wait on them. either way. There's gonna be another one around the corner. Alright, now you're getting into your omens. So this guy is kind of sleeping on the job, if you will. So what we're gonna want to do is, creep over to him, charge heavy, stagger. Should be done with the blood loss. Yeah, so he's done. He dropped his weapon. Warped axe is okay. I cannot stand the moveset. It's like these really weird side slashes that just don't feel good to use. Another very unique weapon, so if you guys like it, try to go for it. Now on him, you should be able to get a backstab. So right when he goes to get up, weapon art, one guard counter, and that's done. As I said, you're kind of set up to just get backstabs on all of them. It just depends on your positioning. Go grab our rune arc. So you're gonna start finding a lot of these now that you got your first great rune. Then we want to open this door because like I said, we're gonna open up all of them and get you guys all the items. This one's another one. Nothing to write home about, but we still want to get everything. Before we do, let's get these guys down. They're gonna really annoy you. They're absolutely fucking spamming magic pods. It's not fun. In between episodes, I'll probably have to go buy some more stone sword keys, but I think we still have enough for right now. They'll get to the point where you have plenty. So for like the first half of the game, they can be semi-limited. Alright, so that's going to be your next helm. Nox Mirror Helm. This is a helm from enemies that we'll face quite a while from now. Enemies that are yet to come. It's cool. Looks like a beer pitcher type deal. Ooh, that's right there, didn't I? Alright, let's get him. Glowvort. I haven't started upgrading any spirits yet. We will. There's a couple good ones coming up, though. Like I said, I don't really use them, so for the walkthrough I'm gonna, but we just haven't really got anything yet, if you will, so we'll make sure we put some upgrades in. I recommend you guys do it. You should have plenty, going through all the catacombs. If you're doing all of them, you should be able to bring up multiple spirits as far as having the materials. Alright, so we do want to go this way first. Now, once you clear this, and you come out, there should be a guy waiting on you. It's pretty much always guaranteed. And now we're going to go in this room, which can be tricky, because there's a few. So I'm going to try to just use our floor trap. At least, bring their health down a little bit. Ooh, we got turned around. Damn camera, I swear. Camera's the biggest enemy in this game sometimes. Alright, then all that was really for this weapon here. Which is Scythe. Scythe's okay. Dex blood loss weapon. Not bad, right? Not bad. Now from there, it's going to go straight to your ledge, roll off, turn around. Now, there's another omen. So we want to drop. We're going to crouch, which I don't think you have to, but just to be careful, I'd recommend it. As he's getting up, charge heavy, wait on him, guard counter, staggered again. So if you see an enemy with their eyes glowing gold like him, that means they're worth, I think, 30% extra rings when you go to put them down. Over here to the right is how you progress. Before we do that, we will be making, a full loop around. So we're going to go to the right, backstab him. Plus, if you go for that main path, and you didn't take this guy out, he's probably going to sandwich you in between, him, he'll be behind you, another guy will be in front of you. It's not good. So prattling pate's wonderful, which we've already covered prattling pates a few times, so I don't think there's any need to do that. Now going forward, you're going to see another omen. This one is the easiest one. All you got to do is use the floor trap twice. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, dead. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a freebie if you know what to do. Can't say enough. Just because something's meant to kill you does not mean you cannot use this to your advantage. And that's exactly what we want to do. weapon art, follow-up. Done. Page Ashes. Those were those guys with the crossbow and the rapier that you saw down the Weeping Peninsula when we went for the, was it the wing site? Where was it? Yeah, where we got that from. Now you have the summon for them. They're pretty formidable too. Now, when you move forward, put up your shield. There's going to be a guy that flies around the corner like a bat out of hell. Just want to make sure you're ready for him. Pop your lever. Make sure to get the note off the screen or you will not be able to attack. And we're just going to go straight for the boss. The boss here isn't really anything too different. It's just another stone cap, which we fought multiple at this point. But this one does magic. So he's going to have a staff that can shoot off like glintstone pebbles, but like a whole arc of them. And then when he does his butt slams, it's going to have a AoE of magic. So all in all, it's not really anything you haven't seen, but it is a little different, right? AoE. Ooh. Watch that stamina. Fire. Hurry. Thank you. So blood loss isn't gonna, do anything for you here, but fire will. So if you have with the blood flame blade, the fire aspect will still do okay. Let's get back to heal. He's got a decent amount of range too on his fire breath. There you are. So it's not a bad fight. You just gotta know how to play it as well. So taking him out, get you Caden, Sellsword, Ashes. Those are the guys from Limgrave. They were on horseback with the big curved sword. So you guys can have them. So I said, you start, once you get to the Liurnia, I said it before, this is where the game really opens up. You're just starting to get a lot better stuff at this time. So now that we have our catacombs wrapped up, what we're gonna do is jump to Liurnia Highway North. Because we know at this point we've cleared everything else along the way. Now, from here, first thing we're doing is grabbing a level. Because after this, we only have one more to do, and then, health is done, right? Health is done. So first things first, from this side of Grace, we're going to go up the right-hand side. Not much is going to come of this. This really just puts you into an area we'll be doing next episode, but I just want to make sure it's clear. There are a few items, there's nothing too crazy. Go up top for alpha. I think it's actually 2 alphas. It's weird because early game it's like a bunch of small wolves and 1 alpha, which makes sense. Then you start finding groups of alphas, which actually doesn't make sense. It's not how wolves work. There's 1 alpha. Thank you. Then we're gonna grab the item off the body, so we're good there. Now we can go on down. Now over here, this is more of something that I just want to show you guys because it's really odd. But there's a crab off in the distance who I think actually uses Deathblight, or looks like he does. He's like kind of black and really infected. So he looks unique, like he's special. Fact of the matter is I've killed him. I've killed the little crabs around him. Just nothing ever came of it. But I want to show it off because maybe you guys can find something with it. I just never did. But we're not going to waste much time on it, just to show you guys. So you start seeing the tombstones, and you get a little bit of crap. This guy, you see how infected he looks, just grotesque. Looks like he's covered in deathblight. I don't think he is. He just looks like he is. Yeah, there's just nothing that I ever found with him. And then, as I mentioned, that brings you out to what we're doing next episode, so we're not going to touch it. So now that that's cleared, we'll just jump back to Liurnia Highway North again. Now we're going to do the left path. So as you go to the left, this is the main road that will lead you to that bridge where I said we're going to close out. But I also mentioned there's a tower. And the tower's like right here. All you do, and you'll see the trail, can't miss it. It's right there. You're just going to go to the far left. A battle's going to take place. This is Raya Lucaria fighting with the Carrion Manor, that lord we mentioned. So this is them still fighting, whatever, hundreds of years later. But you might not see it play out so much because by the time we do this, these guys are, you know, probably going to be mostly dead. Now, when you get here, a lot of spectral enemies are going to spawn in. But, and, you know, they're all mages and using magic. The thing is, the biggest threat is up here on top of the tower, so I want to take him out first. Glintstone Craftsman's Cookbook 3 to get a couple of crafting items for glintstones, like glintstone, not pebbles, but the consumable versions. Glintstone scrap, stuff like that. Then we'll have this gentleman here. So his magic projectiles are bigger and they just do more damage than the guys that are below. Alright, so he should be killed. Right here's the staff. So there are two staffs. There's the Carrion Lint Blade Staff, then the Carrion Lint Stone Staff, I believe. So these are very unique items. So if you were to read about it, staff embedded with a blue glintstone, one of two types of carrying staffs. Gifted to enchanted knights, it enhances glint blade sorceries, such as like carrying slicer. Then the other one is going to enhance glint stone sorceries, I do believe. So we'll get the other one for you guys. Now, this is not as good as meteorite unless it's almost fully upgraded, right? That's when the scaling and everything else comes to hand. But these are still like basic staffs. There's only a few somber staffs. Those are the ones that you're using for an entire place, in my opinion. They have a very high requirement, but that's what you're going with, you know. If you're doing like a strictly intelligence build, you should be able to get some super good staff because you're not worried about a second stat. Or if you're doing a hybrid build like Dexant, you can use a very good staff, but it's going to be very late in the game, right? Which would set you up for the DLC. So if you're doing like Dexant, Strengthant, and you want a staff, you're probably going to be going with one of those, at least for a long time, until you get your stats higher. One of these. So, because you're just not going to have the stats. All the really good somber ones are 48 and to 60 in, right? So you will have access to them, but it's just about when. I still believe dual staff builds better, so you still get physical damage and physical weapon options as far as requirements. Now, from here, as we go down, like I said, a battle is kind of ensuing, so kind of cannon fodder. I mean, it's still threatening because you got a big-ass troll here that can put you down. But he could also help a bit. Now you could just grab the items, go straight for the items, run past all this shit, but they're all dropping stuff. Not to mention, it's just easy levels to grab, you know, easy levels to grab. Now, he's doing most of the work for you. Think about the troll. He can be a little difficult because you can't get critical hits on him. He does not have a head, right? So he does a lot of damage, he uses spells. Melee, but you can't get critical hits on him, so it can be tough. You can stagger him. There's just nowhere to get a critical at. So while you stagger, just beat on him. But I guess you can. Oh, is this not one of the headless ones? I thought he was. Let me see. Oh no, okay. Most of these spectral guys are headless. This one is not. I did not know that. I swear he's headless too, unless they changed it. But yeah. Usually when you fight spectral trolls, they're headless. So you cannot get criticals on him. I'm guessing this one is not headless though. I did not realize. Not a big deal. Alright, so with all that caught up, let's look at the time. So yeah, 6 minutes left for our hour-long episode. So yeah, put us right where we want to be. There's one boss here, may not fit him in, but we did make it to the bridge. So since it's nighttime, he'll spawn in, which is fine. We're just kind of going to clear the left side, grab some resources. These little bears are first but over on the left, there should have been, might be down more. And he should de-aggro. You can just switch to daytime or ignore him. Should have been, yeah, Room Bear Guardian. one move I cannot. I always say that. Room bears are not difficult, but the ram is something I've never learned to deal with. Nope. You can't deal with the Rams that way, but he's like breaking his stance every fucking time that he charges you, but it does keep you safe. And all that for a sliver of meat. Isn't that wild? Alright, so that's the left side. So if you go back and get to the road, on the right hand side there's going to be a scarab. Now this scarab is going to have a somber stone. It's not always Ashes of War. Sometimes it's exactly that, somber stone. Should be like right over by here. I hear you. There he is. This is one of your explodey boys. That's okay. I'm not going to cover the Knight's Cavalry simply because we don't have the time and I don't want to get cut off. So, because with PlayStation, right at an hour, it'll cut off your video. So, instead, you know, we'll play it safe, we'll rest. And with that, we should be good. How much is it for a level? Should like 2,000. I might pop it to get it, just get the end of an episode. Just pop both of them. More will come. Yeah, like I said, when I got to the end of Limgrave, I popped them all because we're starting a new region. I knew we were going to get a bunch more, so I don't want to pop them anymore. But doing that just finished hell. It's done. So now what we'll be doing is jumping into Endurance. And this game, they've done much better. Stamina used to be a real problem in Souls-likes. Like, you're always running out while attacking or dodging, and that barely happens here. It's more about weight limit. So that's what we're after, having enough weight limit. We want 25. I think for a while, 20 will hold us, right? So what I would like to do, that's done. We'll level mind while we're leveling damage. Just every now and then we'll put a point. That's manageable. So we're going to do 5 levels to Endurance, and that would set us up nicely to get back into our strength stat, get back into our fave stat, and just make sure we're reaching requirements for weapons that we're wanting to use. Then we'll probably finish that up, and then we're just in damage, you know, so I think that's the best way to do it. But either way, guys, that is going to wrap us on up. So, as always, I hope you guys are enjoying the walkthrough. Please subscribe for more Elden Ring, and we will catch y'all back here shortly.